Hi, I'm Sabina Leybold, and I'm the creator of a project called the 50 States Dinner Series, which is an effort to cook through Gabrielle Langholtz's America the Cookbook by hosting 50 dinner parties, one for each state of our country, with accompanying themed menus and salon style conversations about each place. So there's structure that I've imposed on the evening that is visible to people in terms of there's a menu which I print out for everybody, and they're asked to bring a topic and they're asked to write or draw something at the end of the evening, and there's a group photo and that kind of stuff. Those are very obvious sort of symbols of structure that has been planned. But behind the scenes, I do kind of have some rules for myself about how I want to approach it and how to make it most successful. So there's a couple ones that come to mind. The first is um, we're doing all the states in alphabetical order. That actually came as an idea from a friend of mine who said, if you do the states you're most interested in first, you will probably burn out and not complete the project, which it's so like practical, but is so true that you're right that if I save all the things I'm excited for, like if I can intersperse the things I'm excited for rather than doing them all up front, um, there's sort of a natural like ebb and flow of the project, right? Plus, well, so it's been interesting to see how going in alphabetical order means that you also get a pretty varied menu from month to month. Um, because that doesn't you're not necessarily going geographically where a lot of the menus are more similar, and sort of it helps to kind of space out the different types of things that you're eating, so that's also helps with keeping it more interesting. I pretty much everything has to be cooked from the book, with the exception of drinks, which some states don't have a designated drink. If there are dietary restrictions I have to plan around, sometimes I do some like supplemental, like side modifications, or I look at supplemental recipes for adapting for dietary restrictions. And then what I call a reasonableness modification, which is for things that are prohibitively expensive to be importing to Philadelphia. So things like I'm not going to order $40 a pound Alaskan huckleberries. I am going to go to Costco and get frozen blueberries instead. And everyone can imagine that they are huckleberries. I would love to have infinite money to do this project, but I do not. And so sometimes we use a little bit of imagination, but for the most part, we're sticking very, very close to the recipes that are in the book because that's really the point. In terms of rules around who attends, it's very important to me that I invite people who don't already know each other, as well as I can control for that. Which we have yet to find that two people from separate parts of my life happen to know each other and I didn't already know it, so that's good. So those three people, usually it'll be like someone from a book club, someone who's a neighbor, somebody who I met through work or something like that, places that are very disparate from each other. um, so that's important, and especially when we have friends who are couples. Technically, I will invite one of them, and if they choose to invite the other person of the couple, that's their choice. But they don't have to. So, so it's not like we're inviting a couple together. It's I'm inviting one of you, and you can decide what to do with your plus one. And then, kind of lastly, it's important to me to be considering diversity in the guest list. So uh, often that honestly mostly looks like age diversity. So trying to get a range of different ages of people. I have found that I love creating intergenerational relationships, and I have friends of many different ages, and that's really fun and delightful to me. And a lot of people don't. And so I think, especially for my sort of same age peers, it can be really impactful to them to sort of like introduce them to friends who are their parents' age and sometimes older. And so I think that that's been really, really special. I think anytime someone is from the place and they're at the dinner table, that is an automatic sort of like favorite moment. Like having somebody who is truly from there is incredible. And sometimes that's a guest, which is great. And sometimes that's the plus one of a guest, which is even better in my mind because it means that that person kind of like tracked down somebody who is thematically relevant, which is always delightful. And then secondarily, anytime somebody does bring a plus one who I think of as being almost a little bit risky. So, for instance, at the Hawaii dinner, which was the last one, a friend who happens to be a former coworker, and I invited her, and she brought somebody who lives in her neighborhood who they sort of became friendly because they were just like bumping into each other at the coffee shop once a week, and they got to chatting, and um, I invited her to this dinner, and she invited him along, and they went and got a drink before coming to the dinner, and it was the first time they had ever deliberately planned to get together. Was, because of this evening, right? And to me, I'm like, that's already a perfect favorite moment in my mind.